One thing that I think it's always interesting to consider is instead of adding more things onto your plate to close more deals, what if we removed things off of your plate so that you had more time to focus on the right things, right? I'm going to share with you in this video 4 time wasting habits that I cut out in order to close more deals in my real estate business. Let's get into it. This is going to be short and sweet, and I'm going to get right to the point. Number 1, you got to cut out too many broker tours and events. Okay, so real story. When I was a couple years new into real estate with my husband, Bryce, we did all the things. We were at all the broker neighborhood tours, right? So if there was like a historical homes tour or a cool architectural tour, we were there. We were at all of the weekly happy hours. Anytime there was a broker event, you could probably find us there. And this went on for a couple of years until we realized that all of this time spent networking and schmoozing with other industry colleagues who we really enjoyed being around wasn't actually contributing to the growth of our business. I was recently speaking to another agent who I'm coaching in the Market Authority Academy who kind of shared the same thing that was happening to them. They said, we realized that we're actually spending a lot of time going on these neighborhood tours. And when we did a little bit of a time audit on our schedule, which I was helping them to do, they realized that they were spending hours and hours each month just driving around to view other homes on these other home tours that are admittedly pretty popular in their market area. And I said, why don't we cut way back on that and save you guys hours of time so that you can then delegate that time back to the revenue producing activities that are kind of slipping through the cracks. And they saw an immediate return on that shift. Just by reallocating that time that they were spending on home tours, they were able to recommit that time to their database and start to see way more referrals coming through. And the exact same thing happened to me and my husband when we did the same. So that's the first one that you want to watch out for, is attending too many broker tours or events instead of doing the work you need to be doing in order to fill up your pipeline with new clients. Okay, number 2, and I talk about this one a lot, but I guarantee you, if you can really nail this time wasting habit and remove it from your workflow, if this is something that plagues you, you are going to see such a drastic difference in your productivity. It is stop responding to unnecessary emails. If you are immediately responding to non-urgent emails, or if you're diving into your email every time you get that notification because it feels good to be reacting to something and to feel busy in your inbox, that is a major red flag for your productivity. So I recently shared this video where I was talking about 4 habits that save me hours and hours each week. I mentioned this during that video, so make sure you watch that if you haven't yet after this one. But it is so true that if you are spending all of your time putting out other people's fires and spending a lot of time in your inbox instead of working on those needle pushing activities that are going to drive you closer to your goals, then you are working in other people's businesses and working towards other people's goals instead of your own. You've got to make sure that you are creating boundaries, healthy boundaries around who has access to you. And part of that is making sure to not be too obsessive over emails or even just random phone calls and texts throughout the day, especially if they happen during times when you should be focusing on your power hours like prospecting and marketing. Okay, number 3 might hit a little hard. Not trying to ruffle any feathers here, but you really got to stop working on bogus projects in your real estate business. So the first year in my real estate business, we really wanted to have a strong brand presence. That was really important to my husband and I, because when we got into real estate, we didn't have a lot of money to spend money on ads or buy leads. So that was not an option for us. And we also didn't have a big network. So we didn't really know exactly how we were going to get a ton of referrals or connections that would fill up our pipeline with new clients. And being newer real estate agents, we knew we'd have to tackle that objection as well to the fact that we were green in the industry. And so we went all in on developing our personal and professional brands. And in my mind, part of that was making sure to set up an amazing website. And so we got into our business and I started creating our website by hand. Now, here's the thing that you should know about me. I am not a graphic designer and I don't pretend to have those skills really nailed down. Like I can get by when I need to, but I spent so much time on this website in the very early days of my real estate business when I should have been focused on getting boots on the ground activities, like getting in front of people, meeting new contacts, and growing my database so that I could actually start to generate referrals. Now, I finally finished that website and I launched it and we felt really great about it. And then guess what? We decided that we needed a newer, better website on this other platform that promised to have an amazing home search tool on it. And so we thought, well, that sounds really great too. So off I went on creating my second website in 1 year of being in real estate. That website got us by for a couple of years until, you guessed it, 2 years later, we went to another web provider because we were upgrading our entire platform. And all this to say, I wasted dozens and dozens of hours on something that truly never pushed the needle in our business. And I have to guess that you've probably done this too. Now, I get it. I am like the #1 tinkering fan. I love tinkering on things and putting stuff together. I love the feeling of having a project to tackle. But if it is not directly tied to removing that obstacle of you growing your business, then you should be hiring that to somebody else. You should be delegating someone to take care of that while you can focus on growing your business. Okay, and finally, my fourth and final time-wasting habit that you gotta stop. And I'm looking at you. If you're on this channel, I can almost guarantee that you are a victim to this. You might be creating too much content. You've got to stop over creating content if it is not the #1 lead driver for your real estate business. So I used to be the Instagram queen when it came to Instagram for real estate, in my mind anyway. Like it was something I took very seriously because it was our #1 lead source for many years. Now we're more on like database and referral and repeat clients because I spent the time that I did growing our database through what I was doing on Instagram. Now, back then, the only way to grow on Instagram was to be on it for hours each day and create a lot of content. And I used to post every single day, 365, for years until finally I just couldn't anymore. By the time I had my second son, my time evaporated and I had to stop posting on Instagram simply because I just didn't have 2 hands to do it anymore. And what I found was really interesting. Our business did fine. Like we did not see a big change in how much our business was growing. At that time, we also had to pull back from posting video content to our real estate channel. And we were fine. Like everything was okay. And what I found was it wasn't necessarily the volume of content that I was creating, but more so what I was doing with the content that I had. And when I didn't have time to continue creating abundance of content that wasn't really doing anything for me, I had to focus on going deeper instead of going wider. And when I went deeper with the people who were referring me business and focusing my 80% of the attention that I had on the 20% of people who were creating the highest leverage for the growth in our business, everything changed. Now, when I see agents in my coaching program, the Market Authority Academy, doing this, it's typically some combination of they are making content creation way harder than it needs to be. So, for example, back when I used to create my own video content, I would script it, I would put it up on a teleprompter, I would do my own setup in my home office, I would film it myself, edit it myself, and distribute it myself. This alone would take me dozens of hours a week because I was posting every single week. And I'm glad that I went through that experience because it taught me the value of creating content, but it also taught me that I was spending a lot of time doing things that I really shouldn't have been doing because, again, much like I'm not a website editor, like I'm also not a film editor. I'm not a content creator by trade. I'm a real estate agent. I'm a real estate coach. And so that's why I turned to hire professionals like Zeke over here, who's my producer, and made sure that I had the right people in place to help support me so that I can take that time again to focus on the revenue producing activities that then exploded my real estate business. Okay, so here's what I got for you. Those were the 4 tips. Let's recap them really quickly. Number 1, stop going to too many broker tours or events. Number 2, responding to non-urgent emails because you like to feel busy and needed in the inbox. Number 3, working on those bogus projects. And number 4, creating too much content, especially if it's not the number one driver for your business right now. I want to know from you, which is the one that you're the most guilty of? Let me know in the comments. There's no shame here. And if you want some additional help on removing these obstacles so that you can finally have a more profitable and efficient real estate business, then be sure to hit subscribe to this channel, because this is the kind of content that I'm constantly creating to help you in achieving your real estate goals. And if you want somebody to help walk alongside you on this path so that you can achieve those goals even quicker, then I would invite you to check out my coaching program, the Market Authority Academy, where I am working with real estate agents just like you day in and day out to help get more focused on the right things that allow them to close more deals and have a happier life and a more fruitful business. If you're into that kind of thing, then you're someone who I want to talk to. All the details to learn about the Market Authority Academy coaching program and book your application call are below in the show notes. Hope to see your name pop up on our calendars. Thank you so much, as always, for tuning into this video. Till next time, keep on crushing it.